Days of Our Lives spoilers hint that Rachel Black's 5 horrific words could finally end a major storyline and answer the question of who shot EJ Dimera. Duel may be on the verge of delivering a shocking courtroom climax, so let's talk about what's ahead in Salem. Since Rachel recalls seeing Johnny Dimera holding EJ at gunpoint and arguing with him that night, she's a crucial part of this case. Although Kristen Dimera and Brady Black would like to shield Rachel from the drama of this trial, that just won't be possible. Rachel is a key witness, so Days spoilers say she'll indeed land on the stand and offer her testimony. Of course, Rachel won't like this any more than Brady and Kristen do. We'll see Rachel freak out over the idea of potentially being the one who sends Johnny to prison. Rachel will be a nervous wreck, but a big twist could be brewing that'll ultimately make her feel even worse. Since we know Johnny is innocent, Days still has to reveal who actually pulled the trigger. Did Rachel do it and block out the traumatic memory? Based on Rachel's flashbacks and what she's muttered in her sleep, she clearly doesn't recall firing at Uncle EJ, at least not yet. However, some puzzle pieces could fall into place for Marlena Evans soon and leave her in a tight spot. Days released a preview video for Summer and Beyond not too long ago, which showed Belle Black pushing Marlena to admit she knew who shot EJ. There aren't a lot of people Marlena would cover for, especially since her grandson is on trial for attempted murder. Marlena would want to clear Johnny's name unless the real culprit was someone she wanted to protect even more. Little Rachel would probably fall into that category, so maybe Marlena will realize her granddaughter has buried the memory of shooting EJ. The memory could ultimately be unearthed and lead to a courtroom shocker. That brings us to those 5 horrific words that Rachel may utter and finally end the storyline. I remember, it was me. Rachel might experience total recall and blurt out her own guilt in court, depending on how Duel writers want to wrap things up. I'm going to be honest, I haven't been entirely sure what the point of this kidnapping story is on Days of Our Lives. I pondered last week that it could draw Doug in to interact with more Salemites, but mostly they're all furious with him. Instead, it looks like it may be his exit story, with Tate demanding he leave town and Doug agreeing. But why do a big story like this for his exit? He never really interacted with enough characters to warrant it, which is such a waste. Why bring Doug Y's grandson on for nothing? Did he even interact with his own cousin Sean outside of police stuff? I know Doug III was brought on before the writer switch, but they could have taken him in an entirely new direction. And I say big story. But it doesn't feel that way. I'm not particularly worried about Ari or Holly. Rafe already found their location, and now Tate has Holly's ring. I feel like he's going to figure out where they are too and race to rescue. If they'd added just one scene on Friday of some thug threatening the girls, that if the guy who kidnapped them wasn't back soon, they'd be toast. It would have added peril. Right now, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not saying Days should be coming up with wild stories all the time, but this kidnapping just feels too small, tame. I don't know how many folks followed All My Children online when it was briefly resurrected in 2013 after being canceled by ABC, but Sal Stowers played Cassandra, and her character was kidnapped by a human trafficking ring. That was harrowing to watch. Maybe it was a bit too harrowing, but this kidnapping is meh. Maybe Tate will feel slightly torn between rescuing Holly and being with Sophia as she goes into labor, but he's 100% choosing Holly. And maybe that was also the point of this. Keep him distracted so Sophia can get away with her and Melinda's plan? Get Gabby and Xander to stop hating each other? Well, either way, it's done next week. Maybe if Doug's gone, Ari can hook up with Aaron. They haven't used him enough. Rafe catches up with Gabby in the kitchen, telling him that Sean's starting an investigation. In the meantime, they need to stay calm. But Gabby doesn't stay calm. She's not sure Ari will come back this time. Suddenly, Gabby stops. Wait, does Holly's family know? Nicole's in France and Maggie's in Bermuda, so Rafe doesn't think they need to know just yet. In the meantime, he tells Gabby again to stay calm. There's nothing else they can do. Distract herself with work. Gabby's aghast. Who cares about a stupid meeting? Okay, Rafe gets it, and him telling her to calm down is pointless and stupid. He's worried too, and she's entitled to panic. Gabby tries being more positive, though, saying Ari's all right, wherever she is, and they will find her. Sean calls Rafe after going over CCTV footage and tells him the girls were kidnapped at gunpoint. Oh my God! Rafe takes a deep breath, and Sean asks if he knows of anything or anyone the girls were involved with that would lead to this. Rafe has some ideas and rushes out. Xander's telling Victoria a story in his office, promising that they have to start getting to know each other again, and they'll be spending a lot more time together, though this office thing is just temporary. She'll have the best nursery when they're living together full-time. You're more important than everything else in my life, Victoria. Now and forever. Eventually, Xander tells Victoria that he's tired of waiting for Gabby and their meeting. They're going for a walk. That's when Gabby walks in, and Xander tries dismissing her for being late. But she breaks down and tells him her daughter's missing. Xander immediately softens and tells her to have a seat, offering to get her something. He's a father and understands, asking if she has any idea where Ari could be. Also, what's she doing there? She didn't have to come in with this happening. Gabby says Rafe told her to keep busy and keep out of the cops' way. That's fine, Xander says, if the Salem PD was at all useful. They aren't, though. Maybe, but Gabby trusts her brother. Tate tries calling Sophia, but she doesn't answer, so he just leaves a message, confused about why she didn't say anything about Chicago. Sophia sees he left a voicemail, but just puts her phone back down, looking worried. Melinda gets back to the hotel room with food and notices something's wrong. Tate called, Sophia says, but she panicked and didn't answer. I don't think I can do this. Melinda sits her down and tells her she fully supports whatever Sophia wants to do. The teen doesn't really know what she wants, she admits. She breaks down telling Melinda about running into Leo and Javi with her son and how much she wanted to hold him. Melinda talks a bit about her own second-guessing after leaving her daughter. Eventually, the thoughts settle down. So, how long was it? Sophia asks hesitantly. Melinda doesn't have an answer, but it wasn't that long, and Sophia still has time to reclaim her baby. But Sophia doesn't want that. She's not ready for motherhood. And her baby deserves parents who are. Melinda insists she's strong, resilient, and brave. All of this is a lot for anyone. She made a difficult choice in a terrible situation, and Melinda is there for her no matter what. When she was pregnant, she wished she had someone to help her through. She wants to be that for Sophia. So for now, how about they watch a movie and eat? Tate brings an envelope of money to Doug in the pub, telling him he doesn't want a dime in payback. He could have asked for help weeks ago, and Holly and Ari would be fine. He just needs to get the hell out of town. Doug will, and Tate informs him he's sticking around to be sure he doesn't screw up the meeting. Tate sits and pretends to look through a menu as the loan shark shows up outside. Doug walks out with the cash and tells the thug he'll hand it over once he knows Holly and Ari are free. But that's not the way it works. Doug hands the cash over just as Rafe walks up wanting to talk to Doug. The thug runs off, then Tate runs out and tells Rafe to stop the guy. He's got Holly and Ari! They chase after the guy, then reconvene at the police station, where Rafe lays into Doug for causing all of this and not telling anyone that he was threatening people. Sean's talking to the guy in the interrogation room, but this is all Doug's fault. Doug shows Rafe a photo of the girls the guy sent, so the FBI agent takes it and runs off to have someone look at it. Inside, Sean questions the thug, telling him the mask didn't hide him. They've got him on tape, and they can put him away for a long time. Where are the girls? Chad runs into Kat and Felicity in a back street. Kat's dropping Felicity off at gymnastics camp, which is where Chad just dropped Charlotte off. Felicity heads in, and Chad and Kat catch up a bit. This is Charlotte's second camp. Hopefully, she at least has fun. Kat offers to bring Charlotte home after, but Chad tells her it's not necessary. Kat doesn't think he trusts her with his kids, but Chad insists it's because he promised Charlotte to be there. Kat assures him he doesn't owe an explanation. But Chad invites her for coffee to wait for the kids together. They grab their drinks in the square and catch up, talking about how busy they both are. Work, Felicity learning to drive. Then Leo calls to tell Chad that he has jury duty. That's fine, Chad promises. They have plenty of reporters to send to cover the trial instead. He hangs up and sees James Smith calling Kat. She walks off to take it. Rafe sent the picture, asking if she can use her ISA resources to pinpoint where it was taken, and it's an emergency. Kat heads back to the table and asks if he can pick up Felicity with Charlotte. No problem, but he looks thoughtful as she walks away. Rafe heads back in to tell Doug and Tate he's working on the photo, then Sean comes out to say the guy isn't talking. They all start yelling at each other, then. Rafe can't go off on the guy. Tate should have said something before, and Sean needs to talk to Doug. He's not arresting him, but he needs to ask questions. Kat calls Rafe once everyone else is gone and says she got a location. Xander gently tells Gabby she can go home and get some rest. He can put together a reward for info on Abby's whereabouts. "You'd do that?" "Of course," he says. He's happy to help. Gabby's genuinely touched and thanks him, then starts hyperventilating over the thought of losing her daughter. Xander pulls her in for a hug. Melinda and Sophia finish the movie, and Trask suggests it's time. Sophia needs to call Tate and tell him the story. Melinda has everything covered. Sophia calls Tate and leaves a message saying she's in Chicago and in labor. Chad brings Charlotte and Felicity to the square, offering froyo for everyone, but Felicity has to get to work. The Dimeras go to get some froyo when Tate rushes through the square, only for Felicity to rush over, needing to talk to him. She says she found Holly's ring when she was over at gymnastics and asked Tate to give it to him. He takes it and stares at her. We have the latest Days of Our Lives spoilers from Monday, July 21st, to Friday, July 25th. Someone unexpected might ride to Johnny's rescue. Tate gets a shock. Marlena has a setback, and Xander does something that might score him points with Sarah. Read on for all the details. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, July 21st. It looks as if the feud between Xander and Philip won't be coming to an end anytime soon. The good news? Gwen and Leo are together again. The bad news? They're sparring with one another. Can this friendship be healed? Javi tries to comfort Gabby. Tate and Rafe join sources as the hunt for Ari and Holly grows more intense. Meanwhile, the young women attempt to escape their captors. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, July 22nd. Brady stands by his son when Tate needs support the most. Melinda knows a thing or two about cooking up a scheme, and she's about to help Sophia follow in her footsteps. EJ may now run the hospital, but obviously not everyone is thrilled with their new overlord. Need proof? Just ask Kayla, who is pretty much over his antics. Sarah can't help but fret where the fast-approaching custody battle is concerned. What does Alex do that causes Stephanie to completely freak out? Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Wednesday, July 23rd. Xander allows Sarah to spend time with their daughter. Could this indicate there might be a thawing in the Cold War between Victoria's parents? Gabby receives an intriguing offer from Tony. Doug winds up in the hot seat as he's confronted by both Holly and Ari. Brady and Tate are about to have their socks knocked off by what goes down when they find Sophia. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Thursday, July 24th. Will Marlena help EJ remember what really happened the night of his shooting during their latest session? Gwen is about to make a shocking discovery. Paulina opens up to Abe about her concerns. At long last, Johnny gets his literal day in court as the trial begins. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, July 25th. Gwen and Gabby prove that old animosities don't die when they clash again. Is Doug leaving town? It sure sounds that way, given that they are about to share a bittersweet farewell. Can Susan hold the key to saving grandson Johnny's bacon? What the heck is going on with Marlena? Perhaps we'll have a better idea when she suffers another health crisis. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Marlena Evans is not sleeping well because of everything that has happened in her life recently. Marlena has seemed to be sick lately and has even asked Sarah Horton to run some tests on her. However, it seems that Marlena is reverting back to some of her old issues. Marlena has been through a great deal of trauma over the years, a lot of it caused by Stefano Dimera. Stefano has always wanted Marlena as his own. Of course, Marlena had John Black, who was there to save her from Stefano, and even from the devil every time. Unfortunately, John is no longer there, as he gave his life to save the drug that would give Bo Brady his life back. John knew that he was risking his life, but he could not allow Bo to die without trying to help. Marlena has not been herself since John's passing, and she is having issues that are making her vulnerable to evil influences. According to the summer preview video for Days of Our Lives, thanks to Dr. Rolf, Stefano is supposedly alive and will come for his Queen of the Night. This would not be the first time that Dr. Rolf has helped Stefano get control of Marlena's mind, or the first time Marlena has done evil things for him. Marlena has no idea what is going on. However, she has been in this position before. Marlena believes she is safe because Stefano has been dead for years. Now Rolf, likely on the orders of EJ Dimera, Stefano is about to return, and Marlena is going to have to find a way to handle him on her own. Spoilers suggest that Roman Brady and Marlena could grow closer now that John is gone, and Kate Brady goes back to work. Will Roman end up being the one who becomes Marlena's hero now that John isn't around? John was Marlena's husband at one time, and has dealt with Stefano before over her. Could this storyline lead to a reunion between Marlena and Roman? Now that Kate seems to be moving away from him to work for Titan instead of helping him with the pub like he asked? Will Roman and Kate fall apart now that she is back in the corporate world? What kind of evil doing will Stefano have Marlena doing this time? Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Friday, July 18th suggest some major moments as Salem heads into the weekend. The search begins for 2 kidnapped loved ones, while someone gets cold feet, and 2 characters have an awkward run-in. What's set to go down on Friday? Time to find out! Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, July 18th hint that the search for Ariana Ari Horton and Holly Jonas will begin. But can the heroes of the little town find the 2 girls in time? Richie, the thug blackmailing Doug Williams III, means business, and the girls are in danger as long as they are held captive by this criminal. So, will they be saved? In other news, Xander Kyriakis will comfort Gabby Hernandez during this trying time. Gabby is living out every parent's nightmare, so here's hoping Xandy can provide her some reassurance. Across town, Sophia Choi will get cold feet. Does this mean she'll decide to put her plan in reverse and reclaim her baby boy? Read this. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers, EJ goes under hypnosis. Marlena hides shooter's identity. Right now, Leo Stark and Javi Hernandez are watching over Tesoro as social services prepare for the infant's adoption. Sophia ran into the couple during the Monday, July 14th show and got to see her little one. It was during this scene that Sophia learned she had about 2 weeks to reclaim her baby before it was adopted. Will she have second thoughts about giving Tesoro away? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday reveal that Chad Dimera and Kat Green will have an awkward run-in. These 2 were slowly but surely heading toward a romance. But now that Kat is working on an assignment for the ISA, things aren't as red-hot as they used to be. Add in the fact that Chad saw a message from another man on Kat's phone recently, and he may be pumping the brakes. Will Chad mention what he saw to Kat on the July 18th episode, or will he catch her with Rafe Hernandez? What makes the encounter so awkward? Are you excited about Friday's show? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Tune into the new Peacock soap regularly for all the drama, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives news, updates, and spoilers. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of July 21st, 2025, tease Marlena's health scare. But before that, EJ enlists his ex-mother-in-law's help. Also, Doug III has a couple of much-needed conversations, and Gabby gets into a heated situation. Next week, Doug III faces a couple of tough conversations in the wake of Holly and Ari's kidnapping. Let's just say he has to face the music after getting into trouble with a loan shark. First, a safe Holly and Ari confront Doug III. The 2 friends compared notes while in captivity and realized that Doug was at fault for their kidnapping. Also, they didn't dig the fact that he never told Ari that he was into Holly right before they got together. By the end of the week, Doug III and Julie share a bittersweet goodbye, which means the guy is making good on his promise to Tate. That if Tate gave him the money to pay off his debts, he would leave town and leave Holly and Ari alone. Look for Gwen and Gabby's old animosity to resurface. Their rivalry can be traced back to when Stefan's twin, Jake, was around. What triggers this current hate-on for each other? Who knows? Maybe it has something to do with Xander, whom Gwen recently reconnected with. Meanwhile, Gabby's professional relationship with her new boss has thawed. Speaking of Xander, his marriage to Sarah is in shambles. They are headed for a messy custody trial, and he's the one currently caring for Victoria on a full-time basis. The week of July 21st sees Xander allowing Sarah to see Victoria. Finally, Marlena is about to have a bumpy week. First, EJ has a session with Marlena, which means that EJ is the next Salem citizen that goes under hypnosis. He wants to remember who shot him, and Marlena attempts to help him out. By Friday, July 25th, Marlena is going to be the one who needs help when she has a health scare. Check out the day's summer preview, which offers a little something more about Marlena's potential illness. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, July 21st, put Rafe and Tate on the hunt for Holly and Ari. But the girls aren't just sitting around, being damsels in distress. They have their own escape plan. Tate and Doug thought they could ransom Holly and Ari all by themselves. But since they are both bumbling and out of their depth, that didn't go well. So now Tate has paired up with Rafe to play hero. What neither one realizes is that the girls aren't holding out for a hero. They're both smart and competent, and they think they've figured out a way out, which is good because Gabby is right on the edge of losing her mind. Javi tries to comfort her, but there is really nothing he can say until her baby is back home, safe and sound. While Javi is taking care of family business, Leo is left to get by with a little help from his friends. What a shame he doesn't have any. The one person who used to be his BFF, ride or die, Gwen, he managed to drive away by sleeping with her husband. So when the two cross paths, it's not exactly a joyful reunion. More like snark. Lots and lots of snark. And speaking of snark, that's where Xander and Philip are currently. They both know a major secret about the other, and they both want to tell it, without incriminating themselves. This is a very delicate dance, and they seem to be stuck in a holding pattern. The Friday, July 18th episode of Days of Our Lives focused on the continuation of Sophia's plan and the search for Holly and Ari. While Sean and Rafe lead the search, who knew the odds of finding them would be improved thanks to Kat and Felicity? Plus, Xander comforted a beyond worried Gabby. Doug III continued to have no backbone and let the thug determine what would happen next. He handed the money Tate gave him over to the guy without getting assurances of where Holly and Ari were. Once Rafe crashed the exchange and the thug walked off, Doug didn't even attempt to go after him or alert Rafe to what was happening. Tate did that. Fortunately, Rafe caught up to the loan shark's minion and brought him down to the precinct, where he proceeded to give away nothing. He wouldn't name his boss or the whereabouts of Holly and Ari. Here's where Rafe got creative. He enlisted Kat's super-duper analyst skills, and thanks to the photo that the thug sent Doug, Kat was able to pinpoint Holly and Ari's location. At the same time, Felicity discovered Holly's class ring in the alley by the gymnastics camp, where she's a counselor. She handed that to Tate and told him where she found it. So, who will get to Holly and Ari first? Tate or the cops? There's also a third option here. Holly and Ari could have found a way to free themselves. Gabby showed up at EJ Dimera despite the fact that she's worried about her missing-in-action daughter. Meanwhile, Xander had Victoria with him at work again. After Gabby told Xander that her daughter was missing, Xander did his best to comfort her. He wondered what she was doing at work and advised her to go home and rest. But she thought that worrying at home was the worst thing she could do. She figured staying busy was the way to go. Xander even offered to put up a reward for any information leading to her daughter's rescue, and Gabby really appreciated it. She also appreciated him being so nice to her, and the two hugged. So, Days is giving us more Gabby and Xander closeness. What do you think of the potential of this pairing after today's episode? Dual spoiler alert! Here's your sneak peek at what's happening in Salem from Monday, July 21st to Friday, July 25th, 2025. Stream Peacock every weekday to see how everything plays out on Days of Our Lives. Xander and Philip remain at odds. Gwen and Leo spar. Javi comforts Gabby. Tate and Rafe search for Ari and Holly. Holly and Ari try to make an escape. Brady supports Tate. Melinda hatches a new scheme with Sophia. Kayla becomes fed up with EJ's antics. Sarah worries about her custody battle with Xander. Stephanie freaks out on Alex. Xander allows Sarah to see Victoria. Tony makes an offer to Gabby. Holly and Ari confront Doug III. Sophia stuns Brady and Tate. EJ has a session with Marlena. Gwen makes a shocking discovery. Paulina worries to Abe. Johnny's trial begins. Gwen and Gabby's old animosity resurfaces. Doug III and Julie share a bittersweet goodbye. Susan tries to help Johnny. Marlena has a health scare. Sarah confides in Brady. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Days of Our Lives has not explained to us specifically why Sophia and Melinda are actually in Chicago. We know being in Chicago to meet adoptive parents is part of Sophia's new cover story, but she is not actually meeting with these parents because they don't exist. So why is she really in Chicago wearing a fake pregnancy belly? Couldn't Melinda and Sophia have just hung out in Salem for a few days away from everyone before announcing that Sophia gave birth in Chicago and quickly handed the baby off to his new parents? We also need to know why Sophia was even wearing the fake belly alone in a hotel room. Nobody could see her, so why pretend to be pregnant when all alone? Even when Melinda returned, Sophia did not need to be faking a pregnancy while watching a rom-com in a Chicago hotel room. The entire scenario makes as little sense as Sophia Googling giving birth without help while she was giving birth. Sure, she had time to do that, but she didn't have time to call an ambulance and get to the hospital. We get that Sophia's birth and adoption story exists for soapy dramatic effect, but the plot holes and confusing scenarios take away from that drama. Let's just hope there is more to Melinda's plan than a pointless trip to Chicago and a waste of a hotel room where Sophia doesn't have to pretend to be pregnant. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full duel recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Days of Our Lives sees Sophia Choi may change her mind about the baby adoption, because spoilers for the end of the week say she gets cold feet when it's time to set up the dirty deal she cooked up with her lawyer, DA Melinda Trask. We're going to talk about what's ahead for Sophia, for Tate Black, for their baby, and others that are all affected by this plot. So, if you're watching and you're current on episodes, poor Sophia gave birth all alone in her room a couple weeks ago, and then she freaked out because she didn't have adoptive parents lined up, and she was worried that Tate would change his mind on the adoption because he was kind of hesitant to sign the papers. Sophia worries Tate may back out of the adoption if he gets to know their infant son. So, she panicked, dropped the newborn at the safe haven box at the fire station. Since then, she has been sneaking around. Sophia is wearing that fake pregnancy belly that Melinda got her. Thankfully, Sophia's lawyer also got her checked out after she gave birth. So, she got good medical care. That's good. And she begged Melinda for help to make sure that nobody finds out what she did with her baby. It was lucky timing for Sophia when she went into labor because her parents and her siblings were out at the movies. Tate is totally in the dark. He thinks his baby mama is still pregnant on the Peacock soap. And of course, Melinda Trask feels terrible for Sophia because she sees herself in her. If you don't remember, Melinda was a pregnant teen. She gave birth to her daughter, Haley Chen, in China, and Melinda's parents took her baby girl and raised her as the parents. And then Melinda wound up coming to the US. Haley grew up thinking that Melinda was her big sister. So, she wants to help Sophia. Melinda has cooked up a plan for them to go to Chicago and pretend that she gives birth there. And the adoptive parents are going to take the baby straight from the hospital. Well, that's the whole fake story. She told Sophia she can cobble together some fake adoption papers that will convince Amy, will convince Tate, hopefully anybody else. However, Days of Our Lives spoilers for this week say that Sophia gets cold feet about something. So, she may tell Melinda she doesn't want to go to Chicago and do all this bakery. Maybe she's just scared she's going to get caught. But the problem is, Sophia would then have to tell her mother Amy and tell Tate and everybody else that she lied and gave birth weeks ago. So she's in that rock and a hard place situation. I cannot even imagine Amy's reaction if she finds out her daughter left her grandchild in a fire station drop box. She would lose it. So, the spoilers about her changing her mind could be about Sophia wanting to do a takeback on dropping Tesoro the Salem Fire Department, or it could be because she's uncomfortable with the fake adoption and asking Melinda to forge documents. She's just a scared kid, bottom line. But in one of the big promos that we've seen, I'm sure you've seen, Sophia tells Tate she gave birth to a baby girl and that the adoptive parents were there at the birth and took the baby away. So despite the cold feet spoilers for this week, it seems pretty clear Sophia is going to go ahead with the fake birth story, which leaves Toro as a foster baby with Leo Stark and Javi Hernandez, and then possibly going up for adoption. After Sophia tells Tate the big baby lie, that's when we could see Sophia change her mind and deciding she can't live with herself, she can't lie to Tate about their son. Even if Sophia still plans to push forward with the going to college away from Salem, that doesn't mean the baby has to stand in her way. I mean, if Tate doesn't want to do the adoption, well, he could be a single dad. He's got plenty of family that could support him. I do suspect after Sophia gets cold feet about the Chicago trip, Melinda may talk sense to her and tell her, Sophia, if you're not going to do this, you have to tell the truth. You can't have it both ways. So, I think Melinda writing Sophia's a reality check is what may convince her to go ahead and do the fake adoption thing in Chicago. But that also means Sophia can change her mind later at any point on Days of Our Lives. What would be really interesting to me is if Melinda wound up adopting the baby because she lost her daughter Haley. That was the only kid she ever had. If you don't remember, EJ Dimera freaked out and she shoved Haley down the stairs at University Hospital where she was a nurse, and she accidentally killed her in kind of this freak accident. And Melinda does really like babies. She was very fond of baby Jude when she was babysitting him while she was plotting to help steal that kid. You know, she likes babies and baby stealing plots. Bottom line, time's running out for Sophia one way or the other. And recently, Tate reached out to touch her baby belly, and Sophia flipped out, and then she tried to cover and said she's just tired of people touching her bump. So Tate also dropped by this past week while she wasn't wearing the fake pregnancy belly, and she panicked and dove under the covers and kind of put a pillow over her. So she's just going to get caught unless she goes forward. Sophia, of course, had that chance run-in with Javi and Leo while they were out with her baby in Horton Town Square. And we saw Sophia getting a little teary when she found out they had named the baby Tesoro, Spanish for treasure. And Leo and Javi gave Sophia a nice little update on her son, with no idea they were actually talking to the baby's mom. We do have to wonder if Sophia's lie means Tate never ever gets to meet his son face to face. And Melinda's and Sophia's plot basically means Tate would never know the truth. Plus, there's also the fact that many Days of Our Lives fans still think Sophia is wrong about the baby's paternity. Not necessarily that she lied, but maybe that she didn't consider that it could be someone else. Because a lot of people think Kat Green's younger brother, Aaron Green, is the one who got Sophia pregnant. They got together the day she blew up and dumped Tate for calling her Holly while they were in bed. And Sophia and Aaron spent an afternoon together. We don't know exactly what they did, but Aaron has been more just kind of mooning around about Sophia for a long time. And if she did sleep with him, that would explain a lot of that. If Javi and Leo consider adopting Tesoro, Sophia thinks that's a good place for her baby. Maybe she'll decide she can live with the lie and that Tate never needs to know. And of course, the truth usually comes out, but not always. There have been very long-running paternity secrets that lasted years on days, and that could be how this one goes, unless Sophia really does change her mind about the baby's adoption. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Marlena Evans is not sleeping well because of everything that has happened in her life recently. Marlena has seemed to be sick lately, and has even asked Sarah Horton to run some tests on her. However, it seems that Marlena is reverting back to some of her old issues. Marlena has been through a great deal of trauma over the years, a lot of it caused by Stefano Dimera. Stefano has always wanted Marlena as his own. Of course, Marlena had John Black, who was there to save her from Stefano, and even from the devil every time. Unfortunately, John is no longer there, as he gave his life to save the drug that would give Bo Brady his life back. John knew that he was risking his life, but he could not allow Bo to die without trying to help. According to the summer preview video for Days of Our Lives, thanks to Dr. Rolf, Stefano is supposedly alive and will come for his Queen of the Night. This would not be the first time that Dr. Rolf has helped Stefano get control of Marlena's mind, or the first time Marlena has done evil things for him. Marlena has no idea what is going on. However, she has been in this position before. Marlena believes she is safe because Stefano has been dead for years. Now Rolf, likely on the orders of EJ Dimera, Stefano is about to return, and Marlena is going to have to find a way to handle him on her own. Spoilers suggest that Roman Brady and Marlena could grow closer now that John is gone, and Kate Brady goes back to work. Will Roman end up being the one who becomes Marlena's hero now that John isn't around? John was Marlena's husband at one time and has dealt with Stefano before over her. Could this storyline lead to a reunion between Marlena and Roman, now that Kate seems to be moving away from him to work for Titan instead of helping him with the pub like he asked? Will Roman and Kate fall apart now that she is back in the corporate world? What kind of evil doing will Stefano have Marlena doing this time?